Hi everyone, today we are going to be doing the Moody Book Tag. So this was originally created by Brittany from Slanted Spines, and I was tagged in it by Nerdy Nat Reads. I will leave both of those channels linked down below. So question number 1 is, do you consider yourself a mood reader? And yes and no, because obviously I am the kind of person, I like setting goals for myself. I like having my plan of what I'm reading and then like satisfying when you tick it off. But also I like to leave room for me to kind of choose whatever I want. I'm definitely like not a mood reader because I love making like plans, but also my mood is that I like reading fantasy and I want to read fantasy, and so I read fantasy. So also kind of yes, because I read what I want. Question number 2 is, do you make TBR lists and do you stick with them? And yes, I do. I actually have a TBR game. It is the Game of Life Adventures Edition, choosing my TBR. And I've successfully completed each one so far. So I make TBRs and I stick with them. Question number 3 is, do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of a book rub off on you? And yes, if it's a book that is written to have an emotional impact, I mean obviously it is going to have an emotional impact, hopefully, if it's doing its job right. But that doesn't mean that if it's a sad book, I'm going to feel sad afterwards. I don't know what this is saying about me as a person, but for example, The Book Thief is the one that I can see right there. That it has some pretty sad moments in there. And I was sad while reading those moments, but it wasn't as though when I put that book down, I was like in a glum mood for the rest of the day. I was like, that was sad. And then like 10 minutes later, I was okay again. Yes and no, I suppose. So question number 4 is, when you're feeling sad, do you pick up a sad book, a happy book, or a neutral book? And my answer is like neither. I would probably just pick up whatever I was already reading. And then if I wasn't currently reading anything, I would probably just pick up what was on my TBR next. My TBR was completely finished and I was just like having a bad week or something. I would probably pick up a reread for me. I would probably pick up like The Shades of Magic or Radio Silence. Probably Radio Silence because that's only one book. Question number 5 is, most often do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? And for me, reading is 100% because I enjoy it. For like escapism, it all comes down to enjoyment. I use reading as enjoyment, as entertainment. So even when I'm like critically reflecting on something, I'm doing that because I enjoy it, and I enjoy like making my wrap-ups at the end of the month, and I like thinking of what I can say on each book. So it all comes down to my entertainment. So question number 6 is, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? So I don't think I'm a person who like really reacts strongly to books, so I had to think a small bit, but in the end I went for Percy Jackson, just this entire series. There's something so fun about it. It's made me laugh out loud so many times. So question number 7 is, what is a book that made you cry? Or if you don't cry at books, what is one that emotionally moved you? And I'm not a big crier at books. So looking at my shelves, there's probably about 3 books that have nearly gotten me to cry over the years, but they didn't. I think there is only one book ever that has made me cry, and that is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. Actually, when I reread this series in February, nearly every book made me cry, just for no reason. I felt like emotion stirring, and I was like, this isn't even the sad one yet. Which this isn't sad either. It's just that epilogue. And the thing is, I didn't cry the first time I read this. I can clearly remember not crying. I can remember being like the emotion stirring and me being like, ooh, is it gonna happen? But it didn't. I held it in. And I think I get more emotional every time I read it. Like every time I reread this, I cry more. Question number 8 is, what is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about it? And I honestly don't know what the answer for this is. Okay, I actually thought of one, and it might actually surprise you because I keep talking about how much I have loved this series this year. That's going to be Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hall, because I really didn't know how I felt about this book. When I finished it, I think I gave it a 3.5 because it took me a while to get used to the writing in it. In the end, I picked up the audiobook when I was around halfway through. It took me like 2 weeks to read the first half of it. I wasn't used to, you know, adult epic fantasy, and so I was listening while I read, and I loved that audiobook. And then at the end it also got really intense, and so when I finished it I was like, okay, I didn't like the start of it, so I can't give it a high rating, so I'll give it a 3.5 star. But then the more I thought about it, the more I just love this book. And so I gave it a 4 star. And like, even thinking back on it, I'm like, it's a 5-star book. Yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to get into this, to get through the start of it, but by the end I just adored this. When I look back from the 3rd book and everything that happened in this series and how insane it got, like everything was planned so perfectly, and so looking back on this book I'm like, it was all setting up for this. I say that I really love it, but I'm still like, yeah, but I didn't like it when I read it, and so I really want to reread it again so I can confirm that I do love this book. So question number 9 is, are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? And the answer is, it's always cloudy here, so I suppose cloudy day. Question number 10 is, do you usually set the mood when you read? For example, music, lights, smell, whatever. And no, I'm the kind of person who can read anywhere, doing anything. I can read like on the bus, I can read while the television is on in the background, I can read listening to music, I can read not listening to music. I don't need a particular setting. But I will say I kind of just prefer to, you know, I prefer not to be listening to anything. I do prefer to just like sit down like on my bed and read something, but it doesn't really matter that much. And question number 11 is going to be, can you leap from book to book, or do you need a buffer in between? And I can leap from book to book. Every so often, like I might like binge watch a TV show or something in between, but I've gotten really bad for watching TV shows. So yeah, I feel like I just kept blabbering on and I don't think I made any sense whatsoever. So that's gonna be fun. I don't know who to tag. I hate tagging people because I'm afraid that like they won't see it, or they will see it and just ignore it. Yeah, I never know who to tag, and also like maybe they're just like really busy and I don't want to be pressuring them. Number 1, I will tag everyone who wants to do this. Please do it. And then I'll also tag, let me see. Okay, I think I'll tag the Bookish Potatoes, Readers C, and Tawny Reads. That is all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!